Here is another poetic recording by C. To save an hour dog hybrid and one philosophical is Skylark's volatilized for the cosmic god, ruler of bells, tentacle medusa at dawn, light cream between the bloodthirsty butterflies, spit in arachnophile lobsters as serenity, lugubrious and dreamy mermaid with a camel head, full in her new invention, a portable flying house powered by drone turbines in the base. Across lavender dunes that scream bright purple, she lived in a possible world galaxy with blood-red streams of turquoise nebulae, where asteroids spat fire-breathing lobsters that blossom saffron, sassafras, sargassum, and flying burgundy, Pegasus, flocked between the transfinity of lunar valleys, soaked in the gigantic rhinoceros honeybee hybrids that voyage with their philosophical magpie wings across peninsulas and moons of the bloody redwood planet known as Philosophigonia, where Serenity lived. She lived in a town known as Anagramnesia, with a vast amount of mixed species hybrids, the kind of town with lobster chinchilla hybrids and kangaroo mallard duck hybrids, perambulating and epicureanistically sliced some gooseberry artificial cheese slices, while they played hide-and-go-seek in the omniverse's chandeliers of frostbitten nebulae. Sociosity was gruff, and intersectivity was painfully blistered. There must have already been an infinity of possible world Socrates who lived and were tried in the town. Serenity, with her marigold mermaid cartilage and combed camel cranium, emulating a cerebrum of cerebral celestial and fumus of mellifluous sylphian warlock hairlocks, had become an outcast not only for her bizarro appearance, but for the very unripened, blossoming tendrils of her being and her dazzling. She was an outcast in her ecologically experimental town, the kind of town where meerkat hummingbird hybrids flocked and tangled under the star-speckled Zeusio moonwash between the Pleiades, the kind of town where nominalists didn't exist because infinity had a lingering mind. And infinity were alive, living in some chandelier in the transfinite Hilbert apartment. Serenity lived in the kind of town where possible world philosophers were tried for discussing the Bekenstein bound of the mind, its sempiternal oceans of information, nebulously creating through cosmic phenomenology. Serenity was also something in the cosmogonic rebel, an esoteric hermeneutic and hermetic gadfly, for using her witticisms to come with aphorisms that only a possible world Nietzsche could come up with. Serenity met a possible world Nietzsche before. He liked peppermint chips and discussing philosophy, the ultimate eschatology of transhumanism. They fed the bold but gigantic Zori mallard duck, mannequins in a park with medieval chandeliers shackled to the redwoods and elderberry oaks, choreographically and trigonometrically flaunted with the priestess nightingales, but time, temporality itself, the very wounded flesh of time, were very much different now. Serenity solved anagrammistic cryptograms that alienated her from the flocks of hope that festooned outside the glittering windows of her apartment, with a transfinite amount of floors smudged with nebulae blood. The folk outside her window desired to listen to data music and keep to themselves. Each sociality is a first of nearly all souls in Amnesia, except Serenity, of course. However, Serenity is also sweet, tender, and witty, like an unripened, bloodthirsty, sentient grapefruit on Neptune, producing through her lips an occasional tangy, pure dreamscapic zinger. Serenity drove her flying house in order to save a herd of sheepdogs with bobbling, oogie, pitting necks, owl heads she heard about on the Possible World TV, next to the marigold drapes of her living room. Her meerkat roommate had left her drone hockey game, a game involving ice skates attached to micro-drones at the base. Not a normal camel hybrids played, but a possible world Sasquatch that Patterson Gimlin film played, as well as a Goblin Loch Ness hybrid zoomorph. They were both great fantasy levitating hockey celebrities. The owl dogs were trapped on a technicolor turquoise mountain that gleamed with magnolia xeris, yap mule cures of gremlin goblins with grizzly bear flesh, an airlifts and lavender teardrops. A rupture in lust and volcanic waterfall erupted on the mountain, and the owl dogs were invariably trapped between the floodgates. She decided to purchase the flying house, using her winnings earned from a hedonistic calculus economy, and as a rebel, she didn't let her acrimonious meerkat roommate, Noah and Zinana, out of their wigwam home. When the sun's nimbus eyeballs froze in the nebulous reef of the bloody blue magenta hue of dawnlight, Serenity garbed in edible clothing made out of experimental music, the wounded flesh of a possible world immune and pure phenomenology, and slipped out into the wormwood groveries of prairies outside her Hilbert apartment. She began her voyage more silent and meticulous than the very unshaven beard of absolute nothingness, as if it were to Malthus's sin, and flew across exploding rainbow peninsulas and Zendo fjords, glaciers made out of waterfalls of pure water from all possible worlds, and shackled to the talons of the intergalactic metals of all possible blossoms, rainbow lavender moons. Checking her Xenos paradox wristwatch, then her serial number atomic clock wristwatch, and her Evertanel limb, she eventually saw it. There they were. The pure faith had blossomed into successful voyage. Serenity fought to herself. Her quellia erupted with a rapturous sense of empathy, compassion, and adoration. The cosmically exploded on the volcano where the owl dogs were trapped, with the volcano named as Metaphysica. Serenity was an arachnophile, ecophile, and dramatically created her flying house, just where the gigantic floodgates, crested meadows at the base of the volcano, where owl dogs, screech-howled, yodel and bloodshot cries of desperation, entangled with the bloody embrace of desperate faith. She unchained the cryptogram via her cryptogram solvent walkie-talkie, bought at a department store where only goods are purchased with hedonistic calculus, and was sprawling like a Zamergy Zazivas, like a feverish, sweaty, dripping waterfall beyond the speed of light. The owl dogs promulgated like a curtain of caribou, leaping through quadratic groves of redwood meadows to escape the onslaught of the volcano. As dawn I liked through its viscous tongue, the golden twinkling of a frosty February. Serenity didn't mutter a sound as she parked, sliding back into her Hilbert apartment. She was the ultimate cosmic rebel, for being perceived as so bizarre by her roommate, a meerkat with an anteater cartilage. Her meerkat roommate woke up. The day was now only just beginning.